I love stories about misfits who are, trying to overcome odds that are much bigger than themselves. And The Sheep Detectives is exactly that. When I read the script, just, seeing how these sheep are trying to fumble their way through solving a murder mystery, something that's way, way over their heads. First of all, it was so entertaining, and it's rare that, you read a script where you're just like laughing audibly at it, because the jokes are so great, but also just so moving. And so being in the proximity of a lot of sheep farms in Oregon, literally right after reading the script, my wife and I drove out to a sheep farm and I started taking photos of sheep and started to think about putting a point of view together for the movie. The Sheep Detectives is about a murder mystery. It's an Agatha Christie-esque murder mystery, but with sheep. And basically, George Hardy, played by Hugh Jackman, is a shepherd who's murdered. And the sheep who love him so much, they take it upon themselves to try to solve his murder mystery. But at the core, it's really a story about what the lengths we go through for the ones we love. It's about memory, it's about grief, it's about just really showing up, for the people we care about. For the look and feel of The Sheep Detectives, wanted to just create a world that was both believable but also timeless. Worked very closely with Susie Davies, our production designer, who was meticulous in the detail of creating this world with me. And one of the things that was important was George's farm. George is a loner. He wants to be with his sheep. He's a little bit skeptical about the world around him, and his farm reflects that. It's basically when we were out at White Pond Farm where we shot that location, you look at the horizon and you can't see any other visible settlements or anything like that. There's a little place which serves as our den brook. But it was a great way for George to kind of hide away from the world and just be alone up there with his trailer on the mountain. The Airstream trailer itself was really important for me, but it ended up being a really great placement, for George to be up there reading to his sheep. You see the great vistas, you see the sunset, the golden light is reflecting off the Airstream, everything just sort of lit up. Lindsay and I had a lot of discussions about the sheep themselves. It needs to be grounded in reality. The fact that we have talking sheep, they're not talking directly to any humans. They don't have a relationship with humans in that way, so they have to be realistic. So one of the ways that we wanted to handle the sheep is that they wouldn't do anything that sheep can't do. So they don't walk around on their hind legs or, just gesture with our, opposable thumbs or anything like that. They really remain anatomically as sheep, and it's grounded that way. So that was one of the really key things in terms of the overall tone. Another thing is that there is some darkness in this movie. It is a murder mystery, and there are places where tonally we do go quite dark. There's a long night scene towards the end, but that needed to be juxtaposed with something that feels really pastoral and happy, and to kind of show the innocence of life on this farm. So, trying to make sure that we balance the dark with the beautiful colors, beautiful nature, and even just the colors and the design of the costumes, to support all that.